Hey, what's up, Luke?
Hey.
So you remember a couple weeks ago we got in a projector,
Yeah.
the XGIMI Halo Plus.
Yes.
I took it home, played with it for a while.
Yeah. What do you think?
I like it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool device.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not exactly cheap,
Okay.
and that was kind of for me like a sticking point.
Sure.
This thing comes in at like $850.
Yeah, that's for something that's not going to be maybe always used.
Right.
You're talking about spending as much as a flat screen TV or something.
Yeah. So for me, it was a case of like, well, we've reviewed other projectors here that are $200,
Yeah.
$300, or even $4 is half the price. This one has Android TV built into it,
Okay.
which is kind of a differentiator.
Yeah.
This one also has a battery, so you can use it off of a power source.
Right.
Also different from most projectors.
Yeah.
It's a pretty portable device.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of size, I was thinking of footprint. It actually doesn't really take up much more than this water bottle.
Right.
You know, we had it here. It's
Mm-hmm.
very portable. I like it quite a bit. It's a really cool device, and I give it high marks across the board for a lot of the features.
Yeah.
It's just the price, that's for some people, they're going to kind of get hung up on that.
Sure.
But so a couple things about this that I really did like. It is very smart.
Mm.
When we put it here and set it up to kind of project against the wall, it automatically kind of adjusts itself based off of the orientation.
Uh-huh.
So if it's not looking straight at something and maybe it's kind of off kilter at an angle, it has auto keystone correction.
Yeah.
So it will look at it and it kind of flashes a QR code kind of thing on the wall and some corner pieces, and it kind of adjusts itself so it makes it perfect.
Right.
But you can also use the remote to kind of manually fine tune this.
Uh-huh.
When I got home, I initially just kind of pulled it out, plugged it in, and set it down on an end table.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of pointed it beyond my television in the corner. And it did a really good job of kind of identifying and adjusting itself. There was a lot of space to work with.
Yeah.
But there were some flowers
Uh-huh.
in a vase. And what it also does is it has obstacle avoidance.
Ah.
So rather than just projecting straight to that wall and giving me this, giant screen, it adjusted itself and moved so that it would not be projecting over the flowers.
To give you just a clear picture.
Just to give me the perfect
square. That's cool.
Or rectangle. So that was pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
You can manually change things and kind of override that if you want to.
Yeah.
But if you're just kind of plug it in and say, hey, let's just give me the best or preferred image for the space that I have.
Right. It's kind of plug and play. There's not a whole lot of setup to it.
And it works really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like you pretty much connect it to your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And then because it has Android TV, you can log in with your Gmail account.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, you can hop into whatever streaming services you have, Play
Right.
Store, and start streaming away.
Yeah.
It's portable. It's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
This thing weighs maybe 3 pounds. And then when you have this thing running, it's very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So more, or I should say less expensive.
Yeah.
Projectors tend to have this fan sound kick on.
Right.
So if it's a quiet moment and you're listening to the sound come out of the projector, that
they're almost competing with each other.
Yeah.
The fan and the speaker.
Yes.
Because this has sound built into it also,
This
right?
has sound built into it. And they're actually they're Harman Kardon speakers. There's
So it's a nice sound system.
DTS. Yeah. This is
wow.
a really nice sound system. Kind of betrays the size.
Right.
You hear that and you turn around and look at it and you're like, actually that
It's just that?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's DTS and Dolby ready. So if you have different things that you're watching, it will sound really good.
Nice.
I like that. Setup, like I said, was super easy.
Yeah.
And then you start playing, streaming. Super bright. I have it written down here. It will do 700 lumens
Okay.
on the battery.
Okay.
900 lumens when it's plugged in.
Okay.
So that means there's an actual internal battery.
Right.
You can unplug this thing and take it with you. So if you want to go out on the porch
Yeah.
and project something, or the backyard, want to set up just put a sheet up or something against the garage, you can use it that way.
Nice.
However, it's only about 2 hours, 2
Okay.
hours, 15 minutes, give or take.
So you might get most of a movie night.
Yeah, a couple
Depending
episodes
on
of a
what
show.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So for portability, that's the kind of thing that I would take out and kind of lug around everywhere I go.
Sure.
But if I have power source, I have some traveling coming up here in a couple weeks. I'm thinking about taking this with me because I imagine that the picture size and sound will probably rival what we end up getting at the hotel.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
And I imagine that we'll have a wall that's bigger than whatever,
Yeah.
or we can move it to a different room or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So it definitely lends itself to the portability, and I'm excited to try that.
Nice.
It is bright. Plugged in, the 900 lumens, it is really bright.
Yeah.
And I checked it out to see what kind of, what's the battery life on this thing, or the
bulb life.
The bulb life.
Mhm.
Yeah, expecting 30,000 hours I have written down. So I divided that. I said, if I just watched 5 hours a day, every day,
Yeah.
it's like 16 years and some change.
Wow.
So that's something to kind of consider if you are, weighing whether or not you want to spend this kind of money. Look at that compared to what other projectors have.
Right. Well, and for what did you say what the maximum screen size is on this?
Couldn't find that.
Okay.
So I was more than happy with the picture. It's a
Right.
1080p picture, and I, would go as far as I could to different rooms to kind of see what I could get. I would say easily 8-10 feet, diagonal corners still looked really good.
Okay. So, I mean, if the screen can get that big and it sounds good, this could, if you could run it 8 hours a day for 16 years on this one bulb,
Yeah,
it could be a TV replacement.
it could be.
Okay.
It really could. If you're somebody who doesn't have space for a TV stand and a television.
Yeah, or maybe, some people don't like the look of a TV hanging in the living room. Maybe this is it's pretty nondescript form factor. It's just kind of a graphite colored cylinder almost. That might look just okay on an end table. And then whenever it's time to watch TV, you just
put away.
Oh yeah,
just pull it out of
stow it in a drawer and you pull it out to watch TV. Okay. Cool.
It has an HDMI input.
Yeah. So
if you have like a game console or something, that's another thing to consider for less expensive projectors. Is if you have like a Android TV dongle or set top box or something, you could plug in as your input.
Right.
This just it's already built into it, so you still have that extra input.
Right. And this has like a game mode too, right?
Yeah, so there's 5 modes you can switch between where it'll automatically adjust like the brightness, and they are considerably different from one to the other. There's a custom mode. I have so there's game, office, football, movie, and then custom mode. Okay. So you can kind of adjust how that is. So if you do keep it at the same spot and use it for different things, you can toggle between I'm playing on the PlayStation 4 or 5 versus I'm trying to watch a movie.
Sure.
One of and these are kind of minor quibbles. I would like to see the remote have maybe some backlight to the keys.
Right. Okay.
Generally, when you're watching a projector, it is a lower light environment.
Sure.
You're not just going to use this thing in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
So having that remote when you look at it, it would be nice if you just had like even one center button that lit up or something to kind of do that. Now, you do learn the remote fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But the D-pad is not, it's a circle with a circle inside of it. So that takes a little bit of getting used to.
Sure, a little bit of touch to get the right.
Maybe if the center was more pronounced, had a hollowed out point.
Right.
That just, you can identify.
A reference point, quicker reference point, sure.
There's also a headphone out. So if you want to plug something in directly and listen to it. The plugs do go into the top. Which I found interesting. I don't know that they're necessarily problematic to have those ports up there, but it is something that, if it's coming off the back of that, it is at the top.
Right.
So it does have some like potential to kind of like
trip or catch hazard.
Catch it, yeah, for reaching by it or past it. Other than that, no, I scored this thing. It ended up getting, I think, a 4.19 was my average. So
wow, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I gave it 5s. Setup was super easy.
Yeah.
The software, the menus, it's all kind of just follow along.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those, you get a nice sized book with it. You don't have to look at it.
Right.
Like, you can refer to it.
Yeah. Kind of does guided setup, takes you through everything you need to get yourself going.
Yeah. Battery was the only thing that I kind of gave it a lower score. I gave it a 3.
Yeah.
I would like to see maybe 3 hours, you know.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, especially if the idea is that it can be mobile and the battery stand on its own. If I'm getting, you know, if I'm supposed to be able to watch a movie on this thing.
Yeah.
2 hours barely gets me most movies nowadays.
Yeah.
So
3 hours gives me peace of mind. And when you pick the thing up, it is light enough that I feel like you could squeeze some more battery in there and not feel like you're making this thing not portable.
Sure.
It does have a tripod mount on the bottom. So if you wanted to kind of like mount it on something that was raised,
yeah,
or if you had it on a tripod and took it out in the driveway and said, we're going to have we're going to have s'mores and cook around the fire tonight, and we're going to have some cartoons or a movie playing, and, you know, you can, I mean, it's really versatile. So.
For 2 hours.
2 hours and maybe 15 minutes, and then we're
get the extension
done.
cord, honey.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the Halo Plus projector with Android built into it, Android 10.
Yeah.
Of the, I should say, Android TV version 10.
Sure.
So yeah, you can learn more about that. It's the XGIMI, I think, is the brand, how you pronounce it. It's XGIMI.com. So you can learn more about it on their website, and you can also find it at Amazon and maybe some other retailers.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feedback, concerns, comments, anything, shoot us an email at podcast@AndroidGuys.com. We'd love to hear from you one way or the other. Luke, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Luke Gaul, Gaul.
And I'm on Instagram at Scott Webster and Twitter as SWebster77. Until next time, thanks for listening.
See ya.